The phenomenon of near-death experiences continues to evolve. It's happening to more and more people, and the stories all bear similarities. But once it occurs, what comes next? It would seem that the near-death experience is only, for many, the beginning of a new and profound journey.
I'm Ron James, host of the show Bigger Questions on Amazon. This year, I'm helping out at the International Association for Near-Death Studies annual conference. To get an idea what to expect, I've been talking to some of the speakers. Let's take a look. Dr. Kason, I really want to thank you for joining us via Skype for IANDS Media. And can you start out just giving us a little bit of background?
I am a retired medical doctor, and my medical specialty was counseling and researching people who had diverse types of spiritually transformative experiences. So that would include near-death experiences. I was the person who coined that term, spiritually transformative experiences, that is being used a lot by professionals in the field nowadays. And also, I was the first Canadian medical doctor to specialize my entire medical practice in counseling people with STEs.
What prompted you as a medical professional to start exploring the NDE phenomenon?
I got interested in the near-death experience because I personally had a very powerful near-death experience when I was completing my medical training, when I was a medical resident. Back in 1979, I was assigned on a medevac on a small airplane to take a critically ill patient to a hospital, and that plane, it was in northern Ontario in the middle of winter, flew into a blizzard, got engine problems, and crashed. And in that crash is when I had what we now know is a near-death experience. Back then, people didn't know what it was. They told me it was a hallucination or a flight of my imagination or effect of cold on the brain. I couldn't believe that. I thought, this experience has changed me, and it changed me in a very positive and a very powerful way. This cannot be a hallucination. So that is what started me on the path of researching all sorts of paranormal experiences, including near-death experiences.
Unlike a lot of stories that you hear about near-death experiences, it seems like you actually started to be enveloped in these feelings as the plane was descending, which is very unusual.
Yes, and that was fascinating to me too. And because of that, for many years, I thought, well, I guess it was not a near-death experience. It must have been something else. And the best word I came up for it was a mystical experience of some type. But now with my research, and other researchers have discovered that you can have a full-blown near-death experience if you're facing death, if you think you're going to die. And that is what happened to me. I thought I was going to die when the plane was crashing. And that's when my near-death experience started. Then I actually was physically close to death later on when I was freezing to death and unconscious. And I still remained in that light. It was like a continuum, a continuity from facing death and when I was close to death. And then I came back, of course, when my body was resuscitated.
And of course, you're going to be speaking in Bellevue, Washington at the International Association for Near-Death Studies annual conference. Tell us a little bit about what people can expect from your presentation.
We'll be speaking at the International Association of Near-Death Studies about defining spiritually transformative experiences, and I will also be moderating a panel of spiritually transformative experiencers. And what I'm trying to share with everyone is that near-death experiences is only one type of a broad range of spiritually transformative experiences that people are having today. So I'm going to be giving definitions, and we're going to be hearing people's stories, so people will be more familiar with what a Kundalini awakening is, what a mystical experience is, what a psychic experience is, as compared to what a near-death experience is.
It's just another reason to be at IANDS in 2018. And Doctor, thank you very much for spending some time with me. There'll be over 100 speakers and presenters at this year's International Association for Near-Death Studies annual conference, Bellevue, Washington. Be there or see it live.